Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Humans and Wildlife Show. I'm Georgia Auteri, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Christian Zase. Christian, what are we going to talk about today?
Hi from Australia, Georgia. Nice to see you. So it's early in the morning here. We're a little bit sleepy still because we're astronomers and we're trying to get the day and lifetime into 24 hours plus sleeping. But we're fine. It's very exciting. Actually, we are talking about the animals that we see every day in the morning when we open the door and in the evening when we go away. And that's kangaroos and other mammals and animals. And with us here again is Blake, who is a resident here in Siding Spring. And he's got so much interest in animals, so it's very nice to have him here. So, hi,
Yeah,
Blake.
remind us of Blake's last name again.
Estes.
Blake Estes, yeah. And both of you are there in Australia with iTelescope. Christian sort of a more temporary Australia visitor, and Blake sort of a more long-term Australia visitor. And so a couple weeks ago on this show, you, Blake, shared a lot of your photography with us, and that we had animals part 1 down under, and it was more zoomed in on insects and arthropods like spiders and stuff. And so this week we're zooming out a little bit to the larger scale animals, to the birds and mammals, and I noticed, some bats as well that you have. Yeah. And a quick hello to people in the audience. I'm going to put on the chat. Oh,
Yes,
it only
good.
shows like comments as they come in after I already show the chat. So I will say real quick hello to Georgiana and Kit and David. Thank you. And especially thank you for finding us at this later time. Yeah. So, okay, I guess we can start off here. Let me share. So Blake sent me some pictures. And Blake, why don't you share a little bit about just sort of like, were you into photography before you moved to Australia or after?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting actually. I actually started off doing photography in high school, and I really had no interest in photography to be beginning. I took it because I had to take a fine art class, and I said, well, that's I was really focused on engineering, so that was the most scientific fine art that I could take. And I didn't do terribly well, but then I got bit by the bug and became really obsessed with photography, photographing nature, especially with the large and small. So everything from the microscope to the telescope, and everything in between.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, bear with me as I'm trying to figure out a little bit here how to maximize our viewing of your photography here. So what is this bird here? It looks like some kind of ibis. Am I right?
Yes, it is. So it's kind of funny. So it's known infamously in Australia as the bin chicken.
The bin
Unglamorous.
chicken, like a trash chicken, like a trash.
Yes. And so I was pretty interested in these birds walking around Sydney when I first was finally able to get out of quarantine and get some exercise. I saw them everywhere, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, what an exotic bird. And then come to find out, yes, they very much are considered, unfortunately, a pest in Australia, but I still think they're really cool looking. But they do have a tendency to get in trash bins and cause a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I could totally see that. When I was in Chile a few months ago, they similarly had a different species of ibis, but like clearly they had like a big orange bill instead of black, but they were like just in the parks and kind of everywhere. I think also an example of a trashy bird. Yeah, cool. All right, let me go to the next picture. I wonder if it will switch automatically. Oh yeah, here's more.
You actually see these ibises also in big cities. I've seen them in Sydney and all over. And Well, I mean, we have crows and so on. They take care of garbage, right? And here you have the ibis. So,
Oh, that's
I
true.
think they're rather beautiful. I like them.
Yeah,
I
they're rather
agree.
exotic looking. Yeah.
Mhm.
What are their personalities like? Like, will they like hassle you if you get close to them, or do they like avoid you? Do they avoid people?
They're pretty daring,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
They're pretty bold. Yeah, I was sitting on a park bench having sushi. There was like a little shop that was open, and one came up and nipped me in the butt while I was sitting there, and I I was like, well, excuse me. So yeah, they're a little demanding of food even. So it's good. They have personality for sure.
Yeah, more on like the Canada goose end of the spectrum in terms of
Yeah.
food aggression. um, okay. Oh, and you have a bunch of kangaroo pictures. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
us. So
The
yeah, I
kangaroos.
mean, yeah, like we saw last time, they're kind of just everywhere, like in the yard. This one is clearly by like a street, I think. Um, what are their
Yes.
personalities like? Yeah.
So yes, they have a lot of personality. They're they like to look and stare at you, and it's kind of funny just because whatever they're doing, they'll contort themselves to kind of they'll be sideways and they'll go they'll kind of give you a Zoolander kind of look. Um, so yeah, they've got a lot of personality, and then they take their scratching very serious. They kind of get into that too. So they're real characters. So kind of.
Oh, like they're scratching themselves, not scratching you.
Yeah, I think there's one in one of the photos. It might be that one, or no, sorry, it's another one. But you'll see in the background the kangaroo is really contorted himself to get an itch. So they're really funny animals.
They show them.
Oh yeah, there he is. And they do like to stare at you as well.
Oh, one of these guys back here. Is it this
Yeah.
one on the? I see. Yeah, he's really twisting around there. We have a question from Gentleman Ghost, interested to know if any flightless birds like emus or ostriches are in the wild and prevalent in populated areas, like high
Absolutely.
population areas.
Absolutely. I haven't seen them as frequently around here, but I have seen two of them. There's a place called Pilliga Pottery, probably about an hour from here, and it's kind of in off road quite a ways. And I have seen emus once. There was a pair of them that ran across the road and then promptly took off into the bush. So we do get them most certainly. So you have to watch out actually in the evening time and in morning time.
Here's a smaller bird, it looks like. What?
Yes,
This is interesting.
This is one of the most infamous birds in Australia. In fact, there's an entire season dedicated to these. This is the Australian magpie,
Okay.
and any Australian that sees this bird will either love this bird or hate it, because they become incredibly defensive of their territory when it's nesting season. And it's usually right in the beginning of spring. So everybody's out and about wanting to ride bicycles and whatnot. And for whatever reason, they've taken an especially hateful obsession with cyclists. They'll chase you for hundreds of meters and swoop you and bite at your ears and peck at you.
Are they trying to protect nests or something when they do that, or?
Yes, so there's about 10% of the male magpies that do this, and it's called swooping season basically in Australia, and they can be quite vicious. People have actually lost an eye in one extreme case, and they do have very, very sharp beaks as well. But if you befriend them, they can actually be quite friendly. And so this one I named Charles, and he brought his family over to my house. So I've befriended them, and they they kind of visit me whenever they can. And their baby I named BB, who's absolutely adorable. I'm sure you'll see some pictures of her.
Yeah, I've seen BBs. Wonderful.
Yeah, so I assume that befriending one of these magpies involves coercion with food. Am I correct?
Oh, yes. Yes, always.
Well, you have to just understand how this is here, because Blake has his own cottage, right? It's a beautiful cottage, and it's surrounded by trees and grass. And kangaroos come in the morning. You have all these different birds that come in, and he gets woken up by sometimes by parrots and so on. That's the environment. It's quite incredible. And he's got this beautiful view, across the valley. He can look probably for 100 miles or so. So, it's very unique here.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Yes.
Hi, Frankman. Just saw you popped in. Nice to have you. And on a non-insect episode. Is this one of the same? This is a video.
Yes, this is a very unique sounding bird. This is the Australian raven.
Oh, yes.
And
oh, my goodness.
I named this one Gerald.
Mm-hmm.
He comes by all the time, and he gets into a fight with a lot of the other birds, unfortunately. So he's a bit of a troublemaker. But the first time I heard one, there's no other bird that sounds like it. I thought somebody was like
murder.
I thought somebody was like hitting their child or something.
Wait, let's listen to it. Yeah, are we gonna hear it sing in this video? Okay, here we go.
A little bit.
I got it right.
And then you'll hear him take off. I think it was and so they can make a bunch of other noises too. Sometimes they sound like they're saying no.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they can sound exasperated, like they'll sound like frustrated. They'll just go so they're very, very interesting, funny birds, especially when you have like 3 or 4 of them out back. You go, what is going on?
Yeah, there's something very like human sounding about the noises they're making. I'm gonna play it again one more time. Yeah. Can people in the chat hear? I think they can.
I think they can. I'm watching the chat, yes.
It almost sounds like one of those tubes with the weight in it that you flip over and it.
You look like someone being murdered. That's right.
Sometimes they can kind of sound like a mixture of like a cat and a child.
Yes,
and it's a very strange sounding bird.
Yeah, it sounds like. Have you ever made like the weird voices, the weird sound voice, like? It sounds like they're doing something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're good, Georgia. Go on. That's good.
Yeah, Gentleman Ghost says, can you imagine hyenas in the same area with this bird? Yeah, that would be wild sounding.
Oh my goodness, yes.
David Howden says it sounds like someone strangling a cat.
Yes, very much so.
You can imagine, yeah.
Sometimes they're out there for like 20 or 30 minutes just making all sorts of sense, and you're just like, what kind of bird? But anyways, we also do get kookaburras.
Oh yes.
Even though we're relatively far from, we're 6 hours inland.
What's your kookaburra impression like? Do you have one?
Oh, I'm still not that very good. But I was gonna mention. I found out because I got really interested in playing the didgeridoo. I still got to get like a proper one, but I found out that the kind of like woo woo like sound that the didgeridoo makes, it's actually somebody making the kookaburra sound in the didgeridoo while they're playing it, and so that's so I've got to work on it. So I'll come back with that one because it's not the best at the moment.
Yeah, when your didgeridoo performance is polished, we expect to hear it. All right, let's see what else, what other surprises you have. Oh, these are pretty.
The
They're
crimson
gorgeous.
rosella, right?
Yes, I call them squeakers, but
They
they're because they sound almost exactly like a squeak toy for like a dog or something when they fly by. They're adorable little things, but they are quite vicious to each.
What are they actually called? Sorry, not squeakers, but
Rosellas.
Crimson rosella, right?
Yeah.
Crimson rosella.
Some people call them lorikeets as well, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
crimson rosellas are. And so we have, I believe, 3 or 4 different species here. So these, of course, are the red and blue ones with the green or the red wings, and then we get other ones that are very much just blue and red, and then we get these kind of neon green ones that are really neat as well. So very, very beautiful birds.
And they socialize a lot, just like Blake was saying. So they're always in groups, but they're not the most intelligent, right?
No.
It takes them quite some time to find out when you put out seeds, right?
Yeah.
We have a comment from Jack Durham. The magpies in Idaho are predatory to nesting birds. I guess I'm not surprised. I guess magpies they're fairly big compared to a lot of the birds, and
yes, they're
gotta eat.
yeah, the magpies are very, I mean, they can be predatory to nesting birds here as well. There's also currawongs, and the magpies and the currawongs very much do not get along. They both imitate each other and they attack each other's nests. And so, yeah, they whenever they see each other, they don't get on very well now.
Yeah, well, these are certainly beautiful birds, though. These birds don't eat. Do they eat baby other birds?
No, they're exclusively they eat seeds, and they're kind of messy because they like these particular like little red spherical ones, and they'll flick out everything else all over the place. So it's a little frustrating having 30 of these birds come by because you end up just stuff everywhere. But they are adorable. Yeah, very skittish though.
Yeah, David Howden coming in with an agreement. Various corvids, which are like this guy and others in his family, are they're nest predators. They're pretty aggressive, or they can be aggressive.
Yeah, I don't have any photos of the butcher birds, but they have a pretty interesting name, and they're adorable birds. They both look adorable and they sound adorable. But they have a horrifying tendency to take their prey and basically just hang it from a branch and just like take little pieces of it. It sounds like a very Australia thing.
Do you have pictures of those?
No, but they are pied. So we have pied currawongs, pied butcher birds, and then magpies. So they're all kind of black and white, and they look a little bit similar. The butcher birds are quite a bit smaller than, say, like the currawongs. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any photos of them at the moment.
Yeah,
they tend to fly up.
Yeah, this is a good comment from Frankman that I didn't realize this, that the magpies in Australia are not in the Corvidae family. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah. We do have I think there's 5. There's 3 species of ravens, and then there's 2 species of crows in Australia, and I don't have the names offhand. Well, wait a minute. There's the little raven. There's the Australian raven, and then I think there's a Torres Strait raven. And then I forgot the names of the crows. Unfortunately, the names escape me at the moment. But yeah, they're they're all very interesting birds, and they sound completely different. Interestingly enough.
We have a question from Frankman whether butcher birds are in the family. A question from David Howden whether butcher birds are in the family Laniidae. I looked it up online just now. According to Wikipedia, which is, of course, our expert source, they're in Artamidae. And to be clear, this is not a picture of a butcher bird that we have up right now, but that's what Wikipedia says. I don't know.
But what are they all there? You gave them a name. Yes, the butcher birds, magpies, and these currawongs all are
Oh yes, they have a color. I guess you could say a
black.
color
Yeah,
scheme. They're pied. So there's pied.
pied. That's what they call it.
Yeah, they're
Magpies.
black and white.
Yes.
It's Pied. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll go. Let me fast forward. We had another kangaroo picture. This
Oh
guy.
yeah.
This caught my eye because it's so clear that it's in an urban setting, and the background is just like in around these buildings. I stole it for the cover for the episode. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, that's
No,
fine.
it's beautiful actually.
Yeah, that's
because you see the 4-meter telescope behind.
yeah.
Oh,
It's actually fantastic. Yes. Yeah.
I didn't realize there's like the white part of the building, the telescope, the
It's
building has the
huge.
telescope in it.
It's huge. It's what's 50 tons or 90 tons. This whole thing is crazy. It's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Let's.
Maybe I don't know, Georgia, if you have any of the videos that he has.
Oh yeah, there's several on there, but this is a
Yeah.
funny one because I'll get sometimes about 20 kangaroos in my backyard, and they like to lounge, and it's just they're just like people almost.
They are. Yes.
They just like to sit in the sun and just relax.
Hang out. Yes.
Yeah. Well, come to Australia and you can see lounging kangaroos. Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through. Oh, here's a video. Okay, so before I play it, let me adjust us so that we're a little less out of the way. All right.
And that's basically out of my bedroom window. Oh no, that's from my porch actually.
From your Porsche, isn't it amazing? Yes.
It looks like there's some joeys in there, some babies. And that one looks like it has a baby in its pouch.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Eating.
one video I took where he's basically got the zoomies and he's just dashing through the forest back and forth, and the mom's basically like, settle down.
Man, there's one that's lounging. It just looks like dead. It's just like on its side, like.
Oh yeah, sometimes they just fall asleep right there, and they very much do look dead.
Play it again. Yeah, the one sort of like center right now. It's just like,
Yeah, he's taking a nap.
And this is very typical. This is what we see every day, right? Just when you open the door, they're just often 10, 20 feet away.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I luckily haven't had an aggressive one yet because if they do kick you, of course, they do have very powerful legs, as you might imagine, but also they have a pretty large claw on the back of it. So if you're unlucky enough to get kicked in the wrong place, you might get a pretty deep cut.
Oof. Do you know anyone that's been injured that way?
Not personally. It's I know someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very interesting one.
Yeah, this is great.
And so this is one of the reasons why you kind of want to keep your distance from them, because this is around mating season, and they do. I mean, they very much get into their fights, and they really don't pay attention to their surroundings. So they'll basically end up right next to you if you're not careful.
Oof. So these are like two males that are fighting during mating season.
Yeah, and so these ones are wallabies, and they're considerably smaller than the kangaroos, and I believe it or not, more adorable. They don't really look maybe adorable in this video, but
They kind of do, actually. They look a little bit. I mean, it's probably it's because I've never seen one like up close in real life, but they look like a little bit silly. Like they look a little goofy as they're fighting to me.
They do. They kind of just hold on to each other and shake each other's heads.
They look like they're dancing. It's funny.
I'll play it again.
Even more adorable. Yes, Frankman. Yeah, I see.
It's really adorable. I'll try and find it when the little joeys are kind of play fighting, for the first time. They're they don't really know what to do. So
They're just for those who've just joined the show. So we are in New South Wales in Australia. So and we are in a place called, this is a long word, Coonabarabran. It's a long word. And we've got actually a beautiful nature park nearby. It's called Warrumbungle Park. And we are at the Siding Spring Observatory. So just look up Siding Spring Observatory, and that's where you find all this wildlife.
Oh, and interestingly enough, I think it was Donna that told me Coonabarabran in the Gamilroy language means curious mind, I believe.
Does it? Curious mind. So I would agree. That's why I'm here.
So there's a question: are kangaroos omnivorous? Yeah. What do they eat?
Oh,
looks like grass.
Yeah, very much vegetarian,
very
as far
much.
as I know.
I don't think they're almost. I think they're vegetarians. That's it. Yeah.
They won't even eat trash.
I've never seen them. No, I think they very much enjoy the grass that's nearby. For whatever reason, right behind my house is one of their favorite spots. But I've never known them to go for garbage or meat or anything like that.
If they were carnivores, we'd be running all the time.
I'd be a little on edge walking around here at night, especially because they kind of just. It's kind of creepy at night when you first get here, and you got to go down to the observatory to fix a telescope or something. They just kind of stand there like weird little aliens, like in the dark, just standing there watching you, and then they'll hop around, and you go, oh. So I'm glad they don't normally attack, or I'm glad they don't eat meat either.
Yeah, we have a question. What about koala bears? Did you send me
any
pictures of koala
bears? You have to tell
bears?
that story about the koala bear, so you know what.
Oh yeah, so my mom is obsessed with koala bears. She very much loves them, and I've been trying for the longest time to actually find koala bears. So not too long ago, I went to the closest large city, which is about 2 hours away, called Dubbo, and they've got a pretty good zoo there. And so, unfortunately, that's the first place that I've seen koalas, and they're extraordinarily difficult, believe it or not, to actually find because they're so well hidden in the trees, and they prefer, of course, the tall eucalyptus or gum trees.
They have different habitats, kind of. It looks like.
Yeah, and the first go that I had, I only saw one, and I asked. The keeper for that area. I was like, how many koalas are in this area? And she goes, there's 2. And so I went back around. She told me, she's like, okay, you got to look really carefully, like up near the canopy. And sure enough, I just saw, it was just like a little kind of fuzzy gray lump that you could just barely see. And I was like, oh, there you go. So they taking a nap. But I do see signs for them in the Warrumbungle National Park, but I haven't seen them there yet. But my coworker Mladen has seen them, him and his whole family, and I guess when they mate, it actually sounds like somebody screaming, like they're being murdered. And so him and his family went out because they were staying at this hotel. In this kind of rural area, and they went out with torches. They're like, does anybody need help? And they're looking around, and there's nobody. And so they look up, and they finally notice it's these 2 koalas that are mating in the tree. And they're like, good God.
It's like help, right? It's
I'm gonna hear the sound impression for that. We have a question. Do wallabies, like the ones that are fighting in this video, do wallabies and kangaroos hang out together?
They do. They very much do, and sometimes they'll eat together, but usually they kind of keep their distance a little bit. But you'll definitely see maybe 10 wallabies, and then you'll see 5 kangaroos or any combination. But they do hang out together quite frequently. They usually come out just before dawn and just before dusk. So of course. You got to be careful if you're driving along the roads. This is a major hazard both for people and the animals, because naturally that, it's when people are either going to work or getting off of work normally. So unfortunately, there's a lot of them that get hit.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
unfortunate.
and unfortunately, I've had that before. You can drive something like 10, 20 miles per hour, and they'll still hit your car. I don't know how they do it, but they will run next to your car, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, they decide to run into your car, right? It's like, what are you doing?
I had to put some more Australian sunsets in there too. This is one of my most not particularly glamorous photos or videos. If you go back, this is me getting woken up by about 60 cockatoos at 6 a.m.
Oh, here, let me turn up the volume real loud.
Oh my God, I look so bad.
Why do I hate cockatoos, you may ask? No reason.
It sounds like you're in Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that was I had just gotten a car tent, one of those ones that you put on top of your vehicle that folds out, and I was testing that out in the outback for the first time, and I was delightfully woken up by all of these cockatoos in the morning.
Oh, that's so cute.
Look at
This
that.
is cute.
Oh, so that's one of the wallabies that comes by. Just absolutely adorable.
So a few questions. Do you encounter very many snakes where you
You
are?
know, we do have the deadliest snakes on the planet here, and they, you know what? Surprisingly, I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 snakes since I've been here. There's a lot of different. I mean, a lot of different species of deadly snakes. Most notably, the brown snake. We did see one yesterday that was kind of small crossing the road, but other than that, no, they're relatively rare. Surprisingly, we don't get them as much on the mountain, but I hear like down in Kuna, actually the populated area, people see about 5 or 6 of them a year, but they're not. It's not like some scene from Indiana Jones where you fall in a pit and there's like hundreds of snakes or anything like that.
No,
they're relatively infrequent, but you are warned when you come to Australia. Don't reach into places that you can't see. Be careful when you're walking in tall grass. Wear gaiters or something like that to protect your calves. I mean. Like compared to the Gaboon viper or something like that, it has like 50 millimeter fangs and delivers a lot of venom. That's not native to Australia. And I want to say that's in the Amazon. Forgive me if I get that location wrong. But the snakes in Australia only have fangs. I think the snake with the longest fangs in Australia is I think the inland taipan or the coastal taipan, and they're 6 millimeters long, so they're not terribly long. And the brown snake, while it is just by bite, one of the deadliest snakes on the planet, it only has 3 millimeter long fangs. So most of the time, if you're wearing denim and socks or whatnot, that can stop the bite. But if you do get hit, you have to basically wrap up wherever you got bit as tight as possible, because if you don't do anything, you're toast in about 15 minutes.
15 minutes, can you imagine? And not only that, but I heard that the brown snake can easily outrun you, no matter how fast you run. It's incredible.
Yes, it's an
Some of
extremely.
them are very fast. And this gentleman says, you may not see the snakes, but the question is, how many have seen you? How many snakes have seen you? Quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to how good snakes are at keeping out of our way, really.
Yes.
When they're
Yes,
not
they do see us. They do see us as predators, and so they very much want to keep away from us and hide. And they will bite only out of defense because they need to allocate that venom normally to catching and eating food.
Do you know how are the animals they're recovering from the fires? We talked about the wildfires a little bit last time, but
Well, I think that's why, unfortunately, we're not seeing as many koalas.
Exactly.
I think their population, unfortunately, was severely
compromised
by the fires.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
But
Do you see a lot of areas where like it's still burnt looking and stuff? I'd assume, yeah.
I wouldn't say necessarily, because it's rained for several months here. We've gotten one of the biggest rainy seasons, I guess, in 15 years down here, and so everything's really green. But you can definitely see where on some of the treetops, you can see where some of the old growth was burned off, and so there's dead branches that stick up through it. And there are a few places where you can still see some charring on the woods in the forest, but it's not nearly as apparent as it was. It seems to have foliage-wise recovered pretty well.
There's some more questions. So we were talking about snakes a second ago. So, here's one I missed before. Are there birds there that can kill snakes? I would assume so, right?
Absolutely. The wedge-tailed eagles, a lot of the birds, even magpies, potentially can go for some of the smaller ones. There's plenty of animals that, even though they're the snakes are very toxic here, they very much make a good meal for a lot of animals, especially the eagles. They're not afraid of them.
So this is an eagle, and we did have a question. Any wedge-tail eagle photos? I'm assuming.
I can answer that because I was just looking out. I just saw wedge-tail. That's Kit, huh? She's seen them here when she was here for astrophotography class, and I've just seen some. But the weather's been, as Blake was already mentioning, quite stormy, and it's difficult to see them. I've just now seen one fly there in the fog, but I will try in the few days that remain to see if I can get some videos. But it's more difficult this time.
Yeah. Who is this in the photo?
So this one is one of the newer ones that I've spied around here, and this one's a king parrot. And I don't know much about them yet. I haven't really studied them, but they just are a very beautiful, exotic looking bird, and it's just really neat to come from California, where we do have some beautiful birds there, but they're not normally as large and brightly colored as say one of these parrots. We do have the ones that were released from Busch Gardens probably in the 70s that fly around, but these are just really beautiful, and it's just neat to actually see them in a natural habitat around in the wild.
Yeah,
by the way,
beautiful. Well, we have a comment. Ooh, black. I would be scared to live in an area with black mambas. Infamous.
Yes, that's a very ill-tempered snake.
I've seen them in you mentioned South Africa because my sister lives there and she has them in the garden, right? And that's why you have dogs, the black and the green mamba. And I think there's also a South African movie that I remember just about the black mamba. It's of course a bit of a drama film, but it's the black mamba is similar to the brown snake. It's very aggressive.
Yeah, very, very quick too.
Yeah. So.
Question, are you anywhere near the dingo fence? The dingo fence, for reference, is a fence that was built in Australia in the 1880s to keep dingoes, to like restrict the movement of dingoes, I guess to keep them out of like the more, it says, the relatively fertile southeast part of the continent, says Wikipedia.
I've only just recently heard about it and mentioned, but I'm not certain. I don't think we are near it. I think because we're kind of almost perfectly like on the like dead east, basically in Australia. Like we're not too far north, not too far south. So I think it's probably several hundred kilometers away from us south.
I see. Yeah. Good to know. And you have some beautiful, beautiful sunset pictures here.
Yes, the sunsets have been magnificent, especially kind of as storms are coming in or after they're leaving. We do
I
get these.
recognize like the landscape a bit more because last time, if you haven't caught in the last episode, go back and watch it. Australia Animals Down Under Part 1. But you kind of pointed out some of the reference points on this landscape. Like on the left, there's this mountain that looks sort of like Half Dome in Yosemite. And I don't remember anything about any of the other mountains actually, but I recognize that one.
Yeah, the other one with the little divot in the middle of it is Mount Exmouth. I do need to remember what the other one that looks like Half Dome is called. And then there's a few other ones. I know there's the bread knife.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
There's a peak that sticks up behind
Yeah.
that. So I'll have that by next time because I'd like to, if possible, include just one or two sunset photos in each.
Oh
each
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I did. I was looking up the area around you and I was looking at what climbing was around. And I remember that the bread knife is like, it's like a rock that's like a knife edge sticking out near there. And I think that rock climbing on it is prohibited now. That's what I read, although it used to be a popular spot for rock climbing.
Yes, unfortunately, there's still a lot of hiking trails, but yeah, rock climbing unfortunately is a bit limited around there.
Well, the sunrises and sunsets here are magnificent. It's really the nicest you can imagine. It's incredible. Really.
What makes the sunsets and sunrises so nice? Like, is it because often, like, I think of like, oh, if there's a lot of particulate matter in the air, then it's more striking looking.
Yeah, as you get lower into the atmosphere, you get what's called atmospheric extinction of certain colors. So if you have a lot of dust in the atmosphere, you get basically the shorter wavelengths get absorbed and the longer ones pass through. So that's why the sunsets will appear more red or orange or yellow. And then we also, because we're surrounded by, giant forest, it traps a lot of moisture. And so you get like these kind of plumes of clouds that can kind of come up when the temperature is right. And if it comes up around sunset, you get views of vistas like this with the kind of this fog, this mist that's coming up from the forest, and just makes like kind of a dreamscape looking view.
These photos are absolutely magnificent. We have a lot of very positive comments admiring them in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is an honor and a privilege to get to be here and do what we're doing. So yeah,
It is. I think it's one of the few places on the planet where you can enjoy both wildlife, astronomy, nature, and everything, to such extreme. I mean, I actually posted, just to go to the nighttime now. I posted the Milky Way picture, which I took from my iPhone 13. It's beyond belief because what you can do with a phone now and the clarity that you have of the sky is just. I mean, you have to see it to believe it. When I posted it on Twitter, people said that's photoshopped, and it's not. It's just.
Wow! Yeah, with an iPhone, you can photograph the Milky Way now.
Oh,
wow, I had no
goodness.
idea.
Yep. Yeah, I should. Let me see. You go on talking, Blake. I'll see if I can share it quickly. One second.
Yeah, what's happening with these birds? It looks like one is feeding the other one. I thought at first that maybe they would just be fighting, but is one the baby?
Yeah. So the one on the left is BB, and
these
the
are
other one is
your
Carl.
magpies.
Yeah. And they have quite a personality as well. They're very curious and very, very intelligent birds as well. They do get a bad rap in Australia because of their tendency to attack people during nesting season out of being overly defensive. But they are very sweet and very friendly if you befriend them. it's just really cute for them to, come by and basically trust me enough to bring their baby over and bring him over to feed him.
Yeah, that's so cute. Do most of the chicks survive from a given batch? Like, is this one of a few survivors, like the only one, or does it have a lot of siblings that are alive still?
I'm not 100% sure because I'm not sure how many chicks the magpies have. I think it might be one, but the Currawongs will, of course, kill and eat the babies or the eggs. And so there was one in particular that would come by a Currawong, and I would feed it. But if this magpie that I named Charles saw him, and I don't know how he knew it was that exact one, but he would viciously attack him. He would fly at him full speed and peck him, knock him over, and claw and pull feathers out of his chest. And so I would assume that one in particular had attacked and eaten either one of the babies in the nest or that one in particular. So they don't get along very well. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how many chicks that they may have, but I would assume one because I usually see them with one.
Georgia, if I can quickly share the screen, I
Yeah.
just want to show, because it's quite amazing, just to show the. Let me see.
Yeah, go ahead and share.
I'll try and see if you can. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So now we can see. Yeah.
Okay. So this was the moon just 2 days ago. It's just amazing.
That's with your
what
iPhone or no?
No, that's not with the iPhone.
It's
That
like-
we took with a.
I mean, we
but
could do that with an iPhone.
But you can. But it's just the clarity of the atmosphere is just insane. But I'll show you. This is done with the iPhone. 30-second exposure. It's crazy.
Wow. Oh, I did see this picture. I had no.
Yeah,
I had no
people
idea.
didn't believe it. Yeah, it's got a lot of retweets and so on. I'll show you some more. They said no, this is fake. It's not. I mean, this is like crazy, right? I mean, that's the Milky Way with just 30-second exposure. You can see the 4-meter telescope there. That's where the kangaroo was in front, and that's just after sunset. When the Milky Way starts rising, it's just incredible. I think I got one more, but there's so many examples of this. Yeah, here's another one just right next to the 4-meter dome. There you can see a meteorite coming in. That's the
Oh my gosh.
That's southern hemisphere, the Large Magellanic Cloud, and the Milky Way rising. It's
You're
crazy.
blowing my mind right now. This is so gorgeous. It's like
It
the
is.
sky is like lit up from behind here. Like the Milky Way is so bright.
Yes, it's so bright. We have the best and darkest skies that you can imagine. That's it really. Yeah, I think that's all I have on this. But anyway, that's
I mean, no, show us some of those again. What about so this one was with the iPhone. The other ones you showed after this, are those also with the iPhone?
Yes, these are all with the iPhone. This is iPhone. This
Show
is
that
iPhone.
one, yeah.
This is really a 30-second exposure, and that's what you see there is the center of the Milky Way coming up, which you never see in the northern hemisphere, by the way, because everything's upside down here. In Australia, the center of the Milky Way rise up. It's the most beautiful part.
So this gets at a question from Gentleman Ghost. Is the Milky Way always present on clear nights there?
Not always, no. It's basically our spread. Well, it's March, probably till late September, October, right? And that's it then.
Yeah.
And then it's just like in the northern hemisphere, you can't always see it. Yeah. But this is also why I'm here now, because it's just so magnificent. And in June, it arches. Honestly, it arches at midnight across the whole sky. It's just phenomenal to see it. It looks 3-dimensional, seriously, because it's so bright. It's
so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who wants to experience it, come here and join us for the masterclass. Seriously, that you'll have the experience of your life.
Yeah. So tell us more. So you've been, Christian, you're in Australia for the masterclass.
That's right.
Yeah, and Blake, you're there. You work there at the telescope year round, but the masterclass is for astrophotography specifically.
Yeah, no, that's correct. It's a 5-day and a night experience, and Blake's actually been helping very nicely out and contributing a lot. It was very nice to have him here. So it's basically you go at night, you do your own nightscape. However, you can also use our huge telescopes. We were using a big telescope in Chile and getting incredible images of galaxies and nebula and so on. And I teach basically how to process them, how to operate telescopes, how to use your own cameras and so on. And people love it. And during the day, they see wildlife, and it's an experience that is second to none. It really is.
Yeah, I can show some of the images that we've taken.
Oh, yeah. Go. Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
fine. Sure.
Give me just a moment.
Yeah. So Blake's just he's gonna show some. His account.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, let's see.
Ah, yes, here we go.
So this is Blake's website.
So these are some of the photos
that we do. That's
So how do you get the colors in these images? Because they're so striking, like especially that one, with the yellow.
Oh, this one, that's the Rofi.
This is actually one of our favorite targets in the night sky. You've got a mixture of two globular clusters that you can see down below right here. This is Messier 4, and then there's a smaller one here that I believe has an NGC number. This is the star Antares.
It has this orange color. That's where it comes from.
And because it's got that orange color, it's the radiation from the star the dust is far enough away that it's just reflecting the light of the star. So the cloud turns this kind of gold color. And then these pinkish red areas right here are emission nebulae. So you have these hot stars like this blue one right here. And the ultraviolet radiation that it's throwing off is causing this hydrogen gas cloud around it to glow like a neon sign, basically. And then there's a little bit of further away nebulosity that it's reflecting off.
It's insane.
And then you have these dark streaks that basically come through here, and this is dark nebulae, and these are just very dense areas of dust and gas.
And then the blue ones again is like what Blake was explaining, the same why the sky is blue, the same thing, the same explanation. Yes. So
wow,
it's quite incredible, isn't it?
So beautiful.
And that's what you see here. I mean, not like that, but we process the images then and bring out the colors. That's how.
Yeah. That's kind of part of what I was getting at when I was asking about the colors.
No, it's not, Georgia, just to answer it, it's not the way we see things because our eyes are not made for looking into the universe. They're adopted to sunlight and so on. And that's why we see green colors so well, but we can't see red very well, and we can't see blue very well. And that's why we have special cameras to bring them out.
Some of these are older, so please excuse me, but like, this is from the 2017 eclipse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then.
There's Mars and.
Beautiful.
And we were looking at the sun. You should talk about the sun. It's amazing. We were looking at the sun during the day with a solar scope. Unfortunately, we don't have. It was overwhelming what we saw, right?
Yes, I'll add them. Actually, if you want, we could do that for one of the next ones. We can do some solar imaging, but we were able to get details like this on the chromosphere of the sun.
In real time, we were seeing this in real time in the sun. It was crazy, right?
Wow! And so is it like swirling and moving when you're looking at it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And huge, really, I've never seen it like that. It's so clear because the atmosphere is so clear here. Your seeing conditions are so good. You could see that in real time. That's beautiful.
This is from on site, walking through the forest at night in winter.
It looks like that. Seriously, it looks like that. You can see this with your naked eye like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and there's the iPhone picture. People don't believe. They said this is Photoshop. It's not. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop sharing that. Okay, there we go. Now we're back. Okay.
So pretty. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll have, so I have to admit, yeah, Ghostman has, Gentleman Ghost has a question on the colors, and it is confusing to wrap one's head around. Maybe you should have a special episode, Christian, on your channel, a special live stream
Yeah.
episode about colors.
Oh,
and
we'd love
something
to
that.
do it. By the way, I can just say, if anyone's interested, on it will be Saturday. Oh gosh, I have to translate this into time. It's so difficult to do that. But I can share on Facebook, on YouTube, a link to. We're going to show our observatory live. Okay, so Blake's going to walk around, and Andy, and they are our observatory managers, and they're going to walk around and show all the telescopes we have live. It's just beautiful to see. But we should do a live show once where you can really see the sun, or just look through telescopes, or even the moon. It's really beyond belief. So yeah, we should.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Well, we're coming up here on the hour.
Already? Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yes, already. So thank you everyone for joining us. It was great to have all of you, and I've really been enjoying interacting with the chats more through this new format that we've been using, where you can share them.
I really like it, Georgia. I really like it. It's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So any final comments, Christian and Blake? The next time we talk to you, Christian, at least on this Humans and Wildlife show, you're going to be in North America.
Hopefully back. Yes, I mean, flying now is not what it used to be, but everything has to be right, and then you can go back. But I should be back home on coming Monday. Yes, Monday.
Great. Well, hope to see you again soon. And Blake, it's been very nice meeting you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. And what's the Australian salutes when you get rid of flies?
Oh, yes.
This is the Australian salute. So anyway, we're going to go for breakfast now. So it's because we're already on the 7th of April here. So. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on here again.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And yeah, definitely catch the rewatch if you missed the beginning. Bye. Cheers.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye.